Hello, hello once again. Welcome and welcome back. My name is Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Sometime in April 2020, doesn't matter anymore. And everybody's talking about how Bernie dropped out of the race, which is not surprising. Should not surprise anyone. As Hillary Clinton would say, nobody liked him. I'm pretty sure the majority of Americans weren't ready for the Bernie socialism takeover. And, the establishment certainly did not want him. So that only leaves a handful of soft-headed sheep who thought that, Bernie Claus was going to come down the chimney and give them all the free stuff that they deserve. It just wasn't realistic, so he's out of there. And, of course, they pushed back the convention to August in order to keep everybody safe from the virus, or just buy themselves a little bit more time because they know that Joe Biden is not going to get the job done. But that's not what this is about. I want to talk about why the left is far more dangerous than the virus. And when I say left, right, I was having this conversation with my dad the other day. He's like, well, when you say the left, what do you mean? When I say the left, I mean everybody. I mean, from the Hollywood sex cult pedo perverts to the mainstream news personalities to the crooked Democratic and Republican politicians who are all in cahoots together, all the way down to the pink hat wearing brain dead sponges that are willing to eat everything that these weirdos are feeding them. And the first reason that the left is far more dangerous than the virus is the fake news. It's been going on for years. Obviously, we saw it really ramp up when the campaign back in 2015 or whatever first started. That's when we really started to see the beginning of it. Now it's at a peak. I hope it's a peak. Right? These people need to be fired. And, we could start real news organizations. But again, I digress. I mean, we have CBS running footage from an Italian hospital claiming it's New York. We have CBS also using that fake nurse who is some sort of Instagram influencer crying about it. And they do no due diligence. We've got the fish tank cleaner story about how Dr. Trump prescribed hydroxychloroquine and these Arizona people died and it's all his fault. Even though Andrew Cuomo was praising the drug too and everybody thought it was good. But then when Trump says it, they say, oh, you're going to kill people. Shut off the press conferences. It just doesn't add up. And then, of course, Cuomo also lying about the ventilators. Like, well, what am I going to do? I need more ventilators. The federal government's not doing its job, with his nipples poking out. And then Trump says, well, what about those ventilators in the stockpile? And he's like, oh, well, yeah, but because for it's all a mess. And these people are complete hypocrites, right? I made a video about the hypocrisy last time. Go ahead and check it out. But, Cuomo, de Blasio, Pelosi, Schiff, Schumer, all these people were all saying, oh, well, the travel ban is xenophobic and this, that, and the other. And then now they're saying, well, Trump didn't do enough early. And this is all part of the problem. So they pump out these lies and then the fake news because they're in cahoots with the Democrats, push it out to people, and it's just a slimy, disgusting swamp mess, all right? And it's like, how do everybody, Cuomo's talking about China sending us ventilators and China's numbers are down and China, it's like, why do you guys, you're so quick to believe China, you're so quick to believe Italy, but as soon as Donald Trump says something, you're like, I don't trust him. No, dude, I don't trust you. And the next reason that the left is far more dangerous than the virus is that they love socialism. I mean, they will probably tell you that they're not enjoying this right now, but I think they are. They're loving, look at the lines outside the supermarket. Look how everybody has to stand 6 feet away and obey all of our rules. Otherwise, we're going to throw them in jail. And, we're going to allow the illegals to vote and they don't have to pay taxes, but they're going to get some of our stimulus bill or whatever. It's like, dude, it doesn't make sense. Socialism doesn't work. It kills far more people than it helps. Anybody who thinks that's not true is insane. I mean, do you really think that Nancy Pelosi and crew is going to take 70% of your paycheck and redistribute it as they see fit and that's a good idea? It's absolute insanity because they take 70% of your paycheck. I'd say a good 60% of that is going into their pockets and the rest they'll hand out crumbs to poor people. And, they're just trying to kill the already disappearing middle class. And then open borders. So you can't have socialism because that doesn't work, but you certainly can't have socialism with open borders. And they again will say, well, we don't want open borders. We just want to abolish ICE and get rid of Customs and Border Patrol and make sure that everybody has a sanctuary city and, make sure that the illegals get the same benefits as an American citizen. It's like, well, that's just open borders. What are you talking about? Why should somebody who is lucky enough to be born in America and lucky enough to pay all their taxes get the exact same rights as somebody who hopped over the fence? Let me know if I'm bugging, because I just don't understand it. I mean, I think it has something to do with a little bit of a cheap labor. Maybe somebody cut the grass or mow the lawn. You could ask Kelly Osbourne about that. Cleaning the toilets, that sort of thing. But these left-wing people are so backwards that they don't realize that that's completely insulting. Almost as insulting as calling, 80% of Americans non-essential so they can push through their socialist nonsense. All right? Oh, man. They really want the cheap labor. They want to be able to traffic their drugs. I made a video about that a long time ago. Go ahead and check it out. I do believe that a lot of California politicians are involved in the drug trade, but moving on. They want to lower the voting age, which is far more dangerous than the virus, because we know that a 16-year-old, he can't drink, she can't smoke, can't go to war, can barely drive a car, can't get a tattoo, all these things that you can't do, but you want them to vote. Now, why would that be? It's pretty obvious. I think it should be obvious to everyone that a 16-year-old mind is way more susceptible to believing democratic left-wing fallacies. Like, well, we're going to save you and your family. Just vote for us. It's like they're so snaky. I don't understand how this is not obvious to everyone. But if you're 16, you'd probably just believe it. And Hollywood. Of course, this ties right into the lower voting age. The Hollywood nonsense. Now, of course, they have their sex cults and their weird rituals and their pedophilia. Same thing in the music industry. It's all, all these child stars, the Coreys and the Backstreet Boys and the B2Ks and all that sort of weird stuff. You could even set that aside because that is such a monumental problem that it could almost deserve its own... That's a whole separate issue. But outside of that, they still are pumping people full of this nonsense. I mean, we're at the point where a movie is just the same as the fake news now. I mean, it's all just complete nonsense. You turn on a movie, left-wing propaganda. You turn on the TV, left-wing propaganda. And they're just beating you silly with it. Literal brainwashing. And this line of thinking drives people crazy. And it turns people into weirdo socialists they think they deserve everything without having to work. Oh, well, I'm a woman, so I don't have to work. Or, oh, I'm black, so I don't have to work. And the white man is evil, and everything should be equal, and nobody should have to go to work. And the government will supply everything because for some reason they think that the government is made up of some sort of mythical, all-knowing, for the greater good person, when really the government is made up of absolute, complete, total snakes and perhaps rats. Then we got abortion. They absolutely love abortion, which of course is far more dangerous than the virus because not only are you killing millions of people, but for a lot of those women, they can't really be right again. I mean, mentally, but also physically. After you get that, you don't know if your next pregnancy that you now want is going to be okay. And they like to use this, well, rape and incest. Okay. First of all, those are one and the same. Second of all, if I, concede the fact that anybody who is raped or participating in some sort of consensual incest, right? You see why those are the same. But anyways, if I concede the fact that anybody involved in those situations can get an abortion, then you should concede that anybody who wants an abortion who is not involved in that can't get it. And they won't do it. They just won't do it. Because it's not about helping people. It's about just having their way all the time. Like, they want to control our bodies. No, it's just like, be a little bit more responsible. We're going to wear a diaper too, It doesn't make sense. If it's your body, your choice, then you can control when you open and close your legs. Just a thought. And they want to say, oh, well, it's not a baby until it's viable outside the body, which is just not true. I mean, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but I know that I'm taller now than I was at 8 years old because we grow. It starts somewhere. And for better or for worse, it's in the womb. So you're a tiny little clump of cells, and then you grow, and you grow, and you grow, and then you come out the birth canal, and you're still a little tiny baby. And then you grow from there into the big, giant, strong, manly man that I am today. You know what I'm saying? And then, transgenders. My favorite, this is obviously a crock of nonsense, and this is perhaps one of the scariest ones because I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you can convince someone that basic biology should be thrown out the window and it doesn't matter, it's not real, then you can convince them of anything. Okay? It's just that simple. Don't worry about your great-grandparents and the founding fathers and your grandparents and your mom and your dad and your uncle and your cousins that all were made naturally by man and woman. Throw all that out the window. If you are a boy and you want to be a girl, all you have to do is say it. You just think it. And that's why if you follow my Instagram, have noticed that I am identifying as immune to the virus. So that's it. That's all I got. That is some of the reasons why the left is far more dangerous than the virus. And until the next one, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening.